Speaking
Yeah,
of
that'd be great.
couples,
Oh, yeah?
after a couple of quarters, we finally have some new numbers from Tesla here.
That is not the worst one we've had so far.
And if the host would enable screen sharing, I'd be able to share my screen with you.
Oh, man.
If Zoom wouldn't make it, so I had to do this every time.
Shame on you,
Get it.
Zoom.
Let's
Update
just
your
pass
preferences.
that buck.
We're going to
okay, so
shame you, Zoom.
Q2 numbers are in for the Teslas, and they are better than expected, which is fantastic. So this is production and delivery numbers. So this isn't the earnings, the actual dollars or anything like that, but often they are correlated. So, take that for what it is.
Should
and
be
so
able to share their screen now. Go ahead.
what they did was in Q2, Tesla was able to produce over 82,000 vehicles and deliver over 90,000 vehicles, which is pretty incredible. So we're looking at the numbers here. This comes to us from the Tesla blog site. Now, some of them are subject to lease accounting, and there is some conservative these are relatively conservative numbers because they only count it actually delivered when a customer has taken delivery of it, and it's off the parking lot, not like they paid for it, whatever. But so there you go. So previously, I believe they were expected to deliver around 83-ish thousand, and they beat that number by a healthy margin, leading their stock price to do the thing that SpaceX usually does and just go up about 8% as of recording this. I believe it was up about 10% in early trading. You can just kind of see here. I mean, already, on Monday, it was at $955. Now we're at $1,200. So even that alone
that's
is
30%
huge.
or something. That's insane.
Yeah, it's insane. It's up 22% for the week in the past 5 days.
Wow.
So kind of nuts. Because typically, when they beat on these numbers, they beat on earnings. I don't think anyone would be shocked if they didn't show a profitable quarter, given if you look at the auto industry as a whole, everyone else is down by significant margins due to the shutdown from coronavirus. Tesla's benefit is that they also have the China factory, which kind of had already went through it and was already back up and running. So given the coronavirus, these numbers are great. If there was no pandemic that happened, these numbers would be extremely disappointing. So here's what they did last quarter in Q1, which I think there was only about a week of the shutdown. It had basically just started, but the Shanghai factory was basically shut down for a good chunk of Q1. There they delivered 88,000 cars and produced over 100,000. So the fact that they're able to even be in the ballpark of that, given the factory was shut down for an entire month, and deliveries were also shut down as well for a significant portion. It's something to consider. Like I know, for example, I was waiting on my Model Y, could not get it delivered because all the delivery centers were shut down here as well. That's not true for everywhere. Deliveries were still happening, but not where I'm at in California. So, yeah, big news,
back to
big win.
Can you go back just to the SX and the Y and 3 numbers, because it looks like they're almost not selling any S's and X's anymore.
Yeah, 10,000 in Q2 versus I think it was 12,000 in Q1.
Well,
yeah,
even just percentage wise of their sales, it's like 10,000 compared to 80,000. I mean,
yeah. Well, the Model 3, and remember, this 80,000 is very like. I'm really bummed that they're not breaking it out. It used to be you could see individual numbers for S and X and 3.
Right.
Now it's S and X are combined and 3 and Y are combined. I particularly don't like that the 3 and the Y are combined, because that's going to muddy up like what percentage of these. So first off, what percentage of these are from China? What percentage of them are 3 versus Y? S and X you kind of don't care about as much because it's such a small number compared to, like you're saying. Compared to the 3 and the Y. But knowing the Y number is going to be, I think, critical. I wouldn't be shocked if on the earnings call there's a lot of people wanting to know that exact number. And maybe if they put out, more data later, they'll update that. But the fact that they're combining them now is kind of disheartening. It's kind of like, ugh, because that individual number of the Y is going to be important. But you're right. The S and X are a very small number compared to what the 3 and the Y are.
Do you happen to know offhand if the number of S and X sales are or deliveries is down from what it was before, say, the Model 3 came out, like when it was just their car? Like, has that stayed kind of flat, and it's just that they're selling a whole lot more of the Model 3 and Y, or is it that the sales of those have actually gone down quite a bit?
they have went down. I actually have the data. Let me see if I can pull it up right here. Let me try sharing a different
I was
screen.
just curious if you knew offhand.
I was. It looks like my camera went away for some reason, but whatever.
Perfect.
Yeah. So here is. Hopefully you guys are seeing this here. This is. I think deliveries by model. So you can see here the deliveries by model of S and X, and if I go into this thing, we're doing some live data visualizations for you guys. Woo. So if I think I could just right click on this guy and say exclude. Yeah. So S and X. Really, and you can see these numbers converge here on this chart because so what we're looking at right now is a line chart, quarterly deliveries going all the way back till the beginning, basically till 2012. And when they started combining those numbers, I just divided them by 2 because I'm not going to try to make an assumption. But overall, it's not really down like a tremendous amount.
Well, but if they were combining those numbers, shouldn't they go up?
Oh yeah, well. But prior to that, yeah, I guess you're right. They took a big hit in Q1 of 2019. That's where they really took a big hit.
Mm-hmm.
And then from then on out. Now, I think a big reason there is because they combined the manufacturing lines. But yeah, so looking at it, they were delivering about 14,000 or 13,000 of each model prior to Q1 of 2019. That took a major hit. I think everyone assumed that there was going to be an update to them, and there wasn't.
But wait, real quick, just to unmuddy this, you're saying that the actual delivery number in Q1 2019, hover over it again, was 12,100 of Model S and X, right? And you just divide it in half.
Yep.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, so when I've shown 6,000 for Model S, 6,000 for Model X, that's just because they don't show the individual numbers.
They stopped.
There are some people out there that try to parse that out, and there are some statistical ways that you could do it, just looking at percentages over time. But I just thought, for simplicity's sake, I don't want to try to speculate on that.
It's darn close to 50-50 just looking at the 2 charts anyway. I mean,
coming back prior to that,
like
you were
5%. Yeah,
so I think unless you really, really care about the difference between these two, I think that most people, this just one number is fine. So I guess really they took a big hit, and that was Q1 of 2019. So all of 2019, it was down significantly.
Model 3 went down that same quarter too.
Yeah. Q1 of 2019 had some stuff going on. I forget what it was. I think they had to
Europe.
Do the Europe thing, and so they were trying to figure out how to ship cars there. So you can see though Q4 of 2018 for Model 3 was 63,000 cars delivered.
That was that huge push. Remember that?
And then Q2 of 2019, so given that where it was up to 77,000. So it made a huge jump. And then this was the let's figure out what the hell's going on in Q1 of 2019.
When that was the short burn of the century because Elon knew that they had so many cars sitting there, waiting to be delivered, but just hadn't quite been able to be delivered in that quarter. So a bunch of short solid deliveries like, haha, see, the demand's going down.
Yeah.
Just as we predicted. And he's like, just you wait.
Yeah. So Model S and X sales have been down for all of 2019. In terms of where they're at now, delivering 10,000 or so, I don't think it's down. I mean, that is down, but it's not like a crazy amount. I'm just going to try to kill my video and bring it back. If not, I'll switch to there we are.
Hey.
Hi. Hey.
So,
simple fix.
Tesla's doing well.
Yeah.
Despite all this, they're actually really crushing it. The stock is up to insane levels, really. And I think in one very odd serendipitous moment here, I don't know if it's currently true, but there was a few headlines out there saying that Tesla is now valued at more than ExxonMobil. And how insane is that? And it's funny because I still think that all of this or most of this, the value of the stock is based on the cars. And I don't even think that's the real play for Tesla. I think it's becoming a utility provider that is completely unbeatable. in terms of reliability, speed, and and value.
Scalability.
Yeah,
Like,
all of it.
all of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
Well,
I think that's the real play.
I was just thinking about that because they just surpassed Toyota as the most valuable car manufacturer. And I'm sitting here going like, okay, how, like, as a stock investor, in full disclosure, I do own some stock. I bought stock years ago, and I'm happy about that now. I mean, I of course wish I had like 10 times more, but at the time it was a big investment for me and like really scary process. But, it was mostly thinking about like the cars. And you can't, if you're looking at as a car company, you can't really exceed the peak of all of, maybe take like, in the wildest dreams, like Volkswagen, Toyota, and Honda or something, and combine them. And that might be the market cap of like what the most valuable car company ever, if
it could be, right?
Could be. But yeah. And then you look at it and it's like, okay, it's actually the most valuable now, but I think the value proposition isn't so much the vehicles. It's the potential for so many other things, including even self-driving now is such a sought after technology that, if it gets solved and they become a ride sharing, autonomous ride sharing company too, like there's a lot of potential there.
Yep. The upside is big.
Mm-hmm.
So how much of that is priced into the current stock price is the question.
Right.
How future looking is that price?
The market. Yeah.
Yeah. That's always the big.
Well, of course, it's always so reactionary. Like right now, they've got a huge quarter that looked well, so boom through the roof. And I never know what the market's actually reacting to. Like you're saying, is it the fact that they're like an energy provider and having a network of charging stations and all that, or is it just that?
Yeah.
Because I mean, I always have to like counter the enthusiasm that I have with the reality that it's only like 2% of cars are electric right now.
Very small percent, yeah.
Yeah, it's a very, very small percentage. So it can't just be the cars. It can't just be a company that has like 1% of the cars out there that is now like the most valuable company in the industry.
Yeah. I think part of it is like it's speculative on the future potential. And I would assume that the reason it continues to grow and all this is because despite other companies making claims and then not living up to them, Tesla has made claims and then lived up to them. So when you kind of walk the walk, I think is when you get that benefit there. And every other car maker out there is all about going electric, is all about self-driving, and none of them have done squat. So
and they've definitely changed the narrative about where the industry is going.
That's
about the future of the industry.
If you hear Mary Barra, the CEO of GM, or Jim Hackett from Ford, everything they talk about is how to go electric, how to go self-driving, everything, even Volkswagen. And while the hardcore Tesla community will shun them, I think that it's a success for Tesla that all these people even care. At the Model Y unveiling, Elon talked about it. It's kind of like a little history lesson on the cars. And they were talking about the headlines about Tesla in 2012 versus now. And you just look at it, and they have forced the hand of the industry. And I think, so if you're an investor and you're looking at it, it would make sense to go, okay, so everyone is going electric. Well, Tesla just absolutely dominates in this space. Like it's not even close in terms of the quality of the products out there. So yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you put your money behind them if that's really where things are going? And the fact that they've now sold over 1 million cars, the demand is still there, they're still crushing it, even all these things. I think you can, have more confidence in it probably as an investor.
Remember when everybody thought when the tax incentives would go away that they would just dry up and nobody would want to buy one? And that did not work out.
I can't believe how many I see around here now. I live in a pretty small city in Iowa where an electric car is definitely going to be more or like a lot less common than when you're in LA, San Diego, San Francisco. That's like a very common car, but in rural Iowa, like that you'd expect it to not be. And I'll see one almost every day when I'm out driving around now,
Wow.
and a different one now. So it's not just because there used to be like another one in town, and now there's like, I don't know, handfuls, probably dozens. There's dozens of us, literally dozens.
As hell, there's like 3 in front of my house.
That never
alone.
fuels.
Yeah. And also speaking of all the stock stuff, by the way, so Elon replied to someone on Twitter where they said he had quoted that there's going to be a tsunami of hurt, I guess, with the shorts. Do you remember that? It was probably about a year ago, and Elon goes, "I tried to warn them," with like a crying emoji.
Yeah, that's funny. There's a weird, dumb analogy there where I believe Trump before he was president tried to get out of a loan because Alan Greenspan declared something like a hurricane of a debt crisis, and so they were trying to claim it was a natural disaster is why they couldn't pay back their loan. So the wording there is pretty funny.
That's awesome.
You said hurricane, guys. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this clip from our show. If that's just not enough for you and you want to watch the full episode, you can go to olfpod.com/YT.
And if you want more from us, you can consider becoming a Patreon member. You'll get early access to episodes. You can join our awesome community. You can actually watch us record live and get your name in the credits by going to olfpod.com/Patreon.
So thanks everyone for watching. Check back every Friday for new clips here and new episodes on the main channel.
Thanks, everybody.